Awesome. This is 91.1 KLSU Baton Rouge. This is Sofia. And who are you?
We are Laveda. I'm Allie.
I'm Dan.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Joe.
Awesome. So just to start off the top of it, how did you all meet?
Wow. We met kind of like all at the same time, but at different times.
Really good answer.
Yeah. We met in high school. Jake and I met in high school, and then Joe and Dan and I all went to college. We all went to the College of St. Rose in Albany and studied music industry, so we all sort of met in college, I guess.
Nice. And yeah, to like piggyback off of that, y'all, obviously are from like upstate New York and Albany. Can you like tell us a little bit what that music scene has been like for all of you, especially because like it has to be a lot different from here all the way down in the South. So what's that music scene been like for y'all?
Awesome.
It's great. There's a lot of really sick bands from Albany that we love playing music with and sharing music with.
There's a lot of like grunge rock and like
some slowcore, some freak folk,
yeah,
some real good music.
This is like a wide like variety of genres, but I think like I don't know, that would be the one that we're most like intertwined with, and like just like DIY show scene.
No, yeah,
been
absolutely.
Really cool too there. So
yeah, and like y'all have been like touring. You've toured in the past, and of course you're on this tour now. Like, how does that music scene compare to like the ones you've toured in? You've been having local bands open for y'all on these different shows. So like, have you noticed anything different or interesting like within these scenes, like compared to your own?
I feel like some like generally like a lot of the younger crowd, I feel like has more of a chance to see shows in other parts of the country. Like I feel like where we're from, it's like if you're under 21, you can't really go see a show at a venue a lot. So it's like a lot of time you have like a lot of more like house venues and DIY spaces getting a lot more people out. But like we've definitely seen a lot of bands like bring like kids out and like are just like so excited to see music and like know all the words, and it's just like really refreshing to see like other scenes have mad people hype about it.
Yeah.
No, that's super awesome. So y'all's band is called Laveda. Definitely a really interesting name. Where did it come from?
It was actually my grandma's name. Everyone called her middle name was Susie, so everyone called her Susie, but her first name was Laveda, or if you're from Kentucky, you would say Laveda, which is where she was from. But yeah,
that's really cool.
Sick. She was a cool lady.
But yeah, that's super, super cool. But y'all's newest single, BB, I like looked a little bit into it because I really liked how it sounded, and like I saw like it kind of like formed as a song because of like that kind of hopelessness, isolation feeling during like the pandemic, which was definitely something we all felt. Especially I know like a lot of musicians felt like that because a lot of your livelihood comes from the exact opposite of isolation, being around people and performing. And definitely in the music video, you see that super feeling a lot. So how did that concept really come about for y'all and like the process of writing and coming up with it?
I feel like that song specifically was just kind of like a little idea that came out of like, I don't know, I was kind of having like just a bad day, and like sat down in bed with my guitar, and like it was like the first thing I played, and I pretty much played the whole song just like outright, which was kind of weird because I don't really do that, but and then I showed Jake and he really liked it, and then we started playing it as a band. But yeah, I think like it was just during that like time where it was like, oh man, we can't do anything, like we can't play shows, we can't like even like see each other, like we couldn't all like always be in the same room because like we we've all had COVID once or twice. Like, it just like it was not fun. So I think it came from that, and just wanting to go back to normal life and not being able to, and just the frustration.
And y'all are easing back into touring, and you guys had talked a little bit about how y'all were on tour right before COVID kind of started as a thing. Do you feel like there's any difference between how touring and shows are right now before versus after, so to speak, of this like pandemic times?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think people are still a little hesitant to like come back out and like see shows, like especially people with like younger kids and people that have had kids over the pandemic have a lot of anxiety over, you know, not being able to get them vaccinated and that whole thing, which is totally understandable.
I feel like, though, I feel like on this tour, like, because we went on tour in March, and that was very much, like, people were still kind of, like, scared, reasonably so, I mean, but now, like, this tour so far, we've played 10 shows, 11 shows, and it's been, like, I don't know, there's been a really good turnout, and I feel like people are just excited to, like, see live bands again, and, like, kind of just get back in the swing of going to shows and stuff. So
I think there's a greater appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Now, at least from us, but also from other people.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of us took shows for granted once, you know,
Literally,
quarantine
yeah.
as a concept happened. Then when it finally came back, you appreciate so much more that sense of community you get at shows, especially local ones. It's something really special that I'm very sad that we didn't get to have it for so long, but I'm glad it's kind of coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
same.
speaking of local music and local venues, you guys performed at Chelsea's last night, which we love Chelsea's, of course. So how was that being here in Baton Rouge and just like performing, and just how has it been being here in our little home?
We love Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
yeah.
Last time we
love
played
it.
Mid-City Ballroom last time,
Yeah.
and that was a really good time with our friends Ria Rosa, and we were like,
Yeah, we
like
love Ria
literally
Rosa.
Dan and I were like, we're moving here. Like this is like we love it here, and I think part of it is like, well, I feel like we're like bands and artists are treated really nicely in this area, which is awesome. But also like, I feel like I find a weird spiritual connection between Baton Rouge and Albany, New York, because we're the capitals of the states we're in, but we're not like the city that everyone thinks of.
Exactly.
And I feel like I don't know. I feel like I resonate with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at home in some degree, even though I did not grow up even close to here.
you have a certain kinship to it because you're like, okay, you're kind of important city, but not really.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
But it felt really sick. Like it was awesome to be here. We got to see some old friends and meet some new ones, and it was a good time.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, what did y'all think about some of the bands that play with y'all? You know, Baby in the 90s was one of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Everyone was just so tight. Like we were like, oh my god, everyone sounds like I don't know, like the studio. like everyone was just like perfect. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, I'm glad y'all really like it. It definitely is a very special music scene that I can't really compare it to anything else because, you know, like we're so close to New Orleans, which obviously has, that scene's 50 times bigger with so many different genres, but like, I don't know, it's something special, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all like it. Y'all said y'all are working on a new album, which I think is really interesting. So is there any new music any of y'all have been listening to, whether, you know, it's kind of inspiring the album anyway or just stuff y'all have been enjoying lately? Just out of curiosity, what have y'all been listening to?
Oh man. Jake.
I feel like we got a lot of influence from bands like the Sundays. Like the song that we just put out, Surprise, is the first single off of the new record, is like super heavily influenced by like 90s English like Britpop rock bands. We just have a huge affinity for that kind of thing. But also there's parts of the record that are a little more slow. We even have slide guitar in a song, which is
Ooh.
crazy.
Yeah, there's like
Maybe that's the Baton Rouge influence. I don't know.
yeah, I've been listening to like a lot of like Wednesday they're from Asheville, and then Hot Spit is like one of Dan's wearing the shirt right now. Some friends of ours from Richmond, and their band is super sick. I feel like the new record has more of like, it's less like out there. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a little bit more easily digestible, but at the same time, I think it's like, I don't know. It's still very Laveda. I don't know.
It's like more grounded Laveda.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Nice.
Yeah, like there's a full band. Like on our first record, we used a lot of drum machines, and it was a lot of just Allie and I kind of like aggressively figuring stuff out. But this one, like Joe and Dan play on like everything, and we have acoustic drums on every song, which is like it feels a lot more grounded
It's
for
like
sure.
organic.
A lot more
little
organic.
Yeah.
bit, so.
Still a little weird at points.
So, but-
We still like to be weird.
That's that Laveda charm in it. You can't stray away from your roots.
No.
So y'all are obviously still have a little bit of tour left, or a good bit actually, and y'all said you're working on a new album. What else is next for y'all? What do you see in y'all's future?
Well, we have this record coming out. The name is out already. I saw it somewhere, so I might as well. It's called A Place You Grew Up In, and it's gonna be out in March. No specific date that I can tell you yet, but it'll be at the beginning of the year, and that's what's next. So a couple singles, and then probably gonna do some touring next year too. So we'll be
back.
up in your face constantly. Yeah. So,
Well, awesome. Well,
but
thank y'all.
excited.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for coming in again, everyone. This has been Laveda at 91.1 KLSU Baton Rouge. Any other parting words you'd like to leave with us?
Well, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
We love Baton Rouge.
Baton
We love
Rouge.
KLSU.
Awesome.
Rouge.
Baton Rouge, baby.
Baton Rouge. Alrighty.